Do you know why you keep delaying the most important things in your life, even when you clearly know what you should be doing? You want to work. You want to improve yourself. You want to move forward. But instead of taking action, you scroll, you delay, you distract yourself, and you quietly tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow. What if I told you that this is not because you're lazy? What if I told you your brain is not broken at all? What if the real problem is that your brain is scared, and it is doing everything it can to protect you from discomfort? Most people believe that successful people are motivated all the time. They think discipline comes from inspiration, passion, or willpower. But psychology tells a very different story. Your brain does not care about your dreams. It does not care about your goals. It does not care about your potential. Your brain cares about one thing only: comfort and safety. Thousands of years ago, effort meant danger. Conserving energy meant survival. So your brain learned a simple rule: avoid unnecessary effort. That rule still controls you today. Every time you try to do something meaningful, something uncomfortable, something that could change your life, your brain interprets it as a threat. Not a physical threat, but a psychological one. And the moment your brain senses discomfort, uncertainty, or effort, it creates resistance. That resistance feels like laziness. It feels like overthinking. It feels like fear. It feels like procrastination. But in reality, it is just your brain trying to keep you safe in a modern world where safety no longer equals success. This is why you can spend hours scrolling on your phone without feeling tired, but 5 minutes of focused work feels exhausting. It's not because the work is harder. It's because scrolling feels safe and familiar, while effort feels uncertain. Here is the truth most people never realize. You don't procrastinate because you are lazy. You procrastinate because the task feels too big. The moment your brain sees a task as large, it predicts pain, fatigue, and possible failure. Your brain hates uncertainty, so it delays. It convinces you to wait for the right mood, the right time, or more motivation. And that is how people stay stuck for years, waiting for a feeling that never comes. This is where a simple psychological rule changes everything. The 2-minute rule is one of the most powerful behavioral tools ever created. It says this: if something takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. And if something feels hard, break it down into a version that takes just 2 minutes. That's it. Simple. Almost too simple. But the power of this rule is not in the action itself. The power is in how your brain reacts to it. When you tell yourself, I need to work for 3 hours, your brain panics. It sees effort, discomfort, and long-term focus. Resistance immediately appears. But when you tell yourself, I'll work for just 2 minutes, your brain relaxes. 2 minutes feels safe. 2 minutes feels manageable. 2 minutes does not threaten your comfort zone. Psychologically, you're lowering the barrier to entry. You are tricking your brain into starting. Once you start, something interesting happens. There is a psychological principle called the Zeigarnik effect. It explains that the human brain hates unfinished tasks. Starting something creates mental tension, and your brain wants to resolve it by continuing. That's why starting is always the hardest part, and continuing is easier. 2 minutes often turn into 10. 10 turn into 30. 30 turn into flow. But the key is that you never aim for flow. You only aim to start. Most people make a critical mistake. They wait for motivation before taking action. But motivation does not come before action. Motivation comes after action. Movement creates motivation. Progress creates confidence. Waiting creates stagnation. This is why motivation is a trap. If you wait to feel motivated, you will wait forever. Successful people don't feel ready. They feel resistance, and they act anyway, but in a way that does not trigger their brain's defense system. Think about this. Saying, I need to write a full script feels heavy. But saying, I'll write one sentence feels easy. Saying, I need to go to the gym feels exhausting. But saying, I'll just put on my shoes feels harmless. Saying, I need to study for hours feels painful. But saying, I'll read one page feels doable. Your brain does not resist small actions. It resists big expectations. And this is where the rule becomes deeper than productivity. This is where identity begins to change. Every small action you complete sends a signal to your brain. That signal says, I am someone who shows up. Identity is not formed by thinking. Identity is formed by evidence. Each 2-minute action is a small vote for the type of person you are becoming. You don't become disciplined by wanting discipline. You become disciplined by proving it to yourself in small, repeatable ways. Over time, your brain starts to believe the evidence. And once your identity shifts, consistency becomes natural. But here's why most people fail to use this rule correctly. They try to optimize instead of starting. They plan, they prepare, they research, they watch more videos. This feels productive, but it is actually avoidance disguised as intelligence. The rule is simple. Action first, thinking later. You don't need the perfect plan. You need momentum. To use the 2-minute rule effectively, you must lower your standards. Not forever, but at the beginning. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Done is better than perfect. Starting is better than waiting. Attach your 2-minute action to something that already exists in your routine. After you wake up, after you pray, after you drink tea, after you sit at your desk. Make it automatic. Remove decision-making. The brain loves simplicity. And remember this rule, never miss twice. 1 miss is human. 2 misses create a pattern. Consistency is not about being perfect. It is about returning quickly. Most people want dramatic change. They want overnight success. They want instant transformation. But psychology teaches us something uncomfortable. Consistency beats intensity. Small actions done daily will always outperform big actions done occasionally. 2 minutes every day for a year will change your life more than 2 hours once a week. The effects compound quietly, invisibly, but powerfully. Your future is not destroyed by massive failures. It is destroyed by small delays, small excuses, small moments of avoidance repeated over time. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more confidence. You don't need more discipline. You need one small action right now, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when life becomes easier. Just 2 minutes. Because once you move, your brain follows. And once your brain follows, resistance loses its power. Action becomes your new normal. And slowly, silently, you become the kind of person who does what needs to be done, no matter how you feel.